Now that you've learned to play this classic blues riff, let's try and use it to play through the 12-bar form in the key of A. But first, let's take a closer look at how to adapt this riff to the 1, the 4 and the 5 chord. So as you learned before, if you're playing it in the key of A, you have the A string ringing open. And the riff was like this, right? If you were to play it in the key of D, you would have the D string ringing open, which is right below that. So you just move the whole thing down one, so that you're now fretting the 2nd fret of the G string, and playing the same thing, but now on the D and G string. Before we had A here, on the A and D string, and this is A because the A string is ringing open, and now we're moving it down so we have the D string ringing open, which makes it fit over a D harmony, right? Back to A. So to play it in the key of E, you can probably figure out that you have the E string ringing open, and you do the same thing. So this is pretty simple. The hard thing is in the right hand, because you'll probably be looking at your left hand, and what's gonna happen very often is that you'll move your left hand, but the right hand will keep picking the same strings. So that's just a matter of left and right hand coordination. Just remember to change in both hands. And back up, A and D string, and now E and A string. So those are the 3 chords, the 1 chord in the key of A, the 4 chord, and the 5 chord. So if we go through the 12-bar form, we have 4 bars of the A here, of the 1 chord, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. That was 1, 2 and 3 and 4. That was 2 chords, or 2 bars, sorry, 3 bars, and 3 and 4. Now the 4th bar, 1, 2, switch to D, the 4 chord, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 more bar, 1, 2, 3, back to the 1 chord to A for 2 bars, 2, 3, 4, 1 more bar, 1, 2, 3, we go to the 5 chord E, and here comes the hard switch, because from the 5 chord we go to the D chord, the 4 chord, and back to the 1 chord, and to the 5 chord. So as you remember from the previous tutorial, this is the tricky part of the 12-bar form, because in the last 4 bars, you have 1 bar on each chord. And you go from the E here, down to D, which means you have to skip the A position, right? You jump all the way down here. So now you go from the E and A string to the D and G string, which is tricky, especially in your right hand, because you might end up picking other strings than what you're going for. And then back to A, and to the 5 chord, and then it starts over. But this is tricky because it's faster, and because you have to skip the A, so you have to skip some strings. So just make sure that you practice that slowly, especially the last part of it, and make sure that you move the strings both in your left and your right hand. Now let's try it out with the backing track. Remember to move the riff up and down when the chords change.